Hi. Happy Thursday, everyone. I know it's not our typical Wednesday live, but I made a commitment and actually I really am excited about this class. It's a question that I get asked all the time. How to clear your space, who should clear their space, when should you clear your space, what are the different types of ways you can clear your space? What is the process? So I'm super excited to give this class, this workshop today. And then also, just so you guys know, it's going to be a question and answer too. So the workshop shouldn't be that long. So if you have any questions, about what comes up, hey Pamela, if you have any questions about what comes up, or if you have had some questions on your heart, hey, Shelly, I will answer pretty much any questions. Hey, Maria, except for, I don't typically do readings on here, though information has come through naturally before. So we just kind of always see where it goes. So I'm sorry I wasn't here yesterday to kind of clear things up with you guys. I just had like a slight medical issue. I went to the doctor. I got some medicine. I got my blood checked. I'm waiting for results, but everything is all good now, and I'm here. So what happened was I was doing a call in the morning. It was like 10:30 with a coaching client, and like halfway through the call I started feeling really weird, and by the time I was done with the call I was in a whole lot of pain, and so I tried to wait like 2 hours to see if it would go away, and then I just, it was one of those things, go to the doctor, listen to your body, see what's going on, and now we're all good. So hey Haley, I'm glad you're here. So, okay, we're going to talk today about cleansing and clearing your space. So a lot of mediums, thank you babe, a lot of mediums and a lot of psychics, they will supplement their income by cleansing other people's homes. This is, hey Kelly, hey mama. This is not something that I do. I get asked to cleanse people's homes all the time, but there's a few reasons that I don't do it. The first reason being, I think that you need to set the boundaries in your own space. So just like, your kids or your animals, they're gonna listen to you or they don't always listen to you, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you have your boundaries, you have your rules in place, and they know that you mean business. I think that spirit is the same. So while I'm totally open to assisting someone in helping them to cleanse their space and guiding them through it, I am not someone that goes to other people's homes and does this for them. Another reason is, they have their own energies, their own situations that are going on in their homes. I don't want to go there and kind of pick something up and bring it back with me when, that wasn't something that I needed to do in the first place. So what I typically do, I teach people how to clear their homes. I teach people why they need to. I can tell you where to buy the products, what products to buy, and then you can clear your home and it feels good to you because you're setting your own specific boundaries. Does that make sense, guys? So, okay, I have to first jump into, before we get started, there were two things that made me want to do this specific workshop, and then yesterday it was confirmed when I went to the doctor. But I want to tell you guys, as you guys know, we're in this massive period of awakening, and I think it's so freaking beautiful. It's so amazing. But those things that have been on your heart to do, you might find that you're being pushed towards them more and more and more. Or if there's something that you've been thinking to yourself, Spirit is validating it for you more and more and more. And so here's what I mean. Here's a prime example. As you guys know, I've always had a little bit of, hey Morgan, I've always had a little bit of resistance about showing up on video. So I slowly started, thank you Julie, I slowly started my YouTube channel, and my videos used to only be in my website, so on my courses, and then lately I've started doing the lives, but I've still had so much resistance to it. I have a friend, Erin, who's been on here before, and she's always like, Ashley, you get to be seen, you get to be seen, you get to be seen, and I'm always like, yeah, okay, whatever. So recently that's been my biggest story, and I've talked about it on here before, is like, yeah, I'm inching out there, but I don't normally shout from the rooftops, hey, I'm a medium, everybody, or hey, I'm an intuitive life coach. But it's been on my heart to do that. Like, show up, Ashley, show up for yourself, show up more authentically. Maybe by you showing up more authentically for other people, you give them permission to show up more authentically for themselves. So, and Miss Kelly, you're going to know exactly who I'm talking about when I say this. So there was someone in my life that I've known since I was about 12, 13 years old. And he was a really good friend of mine, and he actually ended up getting into some trouble, and he went away for a long time. I hadn't seen him in at least 8 years. He was in wherever he was for over 6 years. So the other day I was in the grocery store near my house, which is about 30 minutes away from where we grew up. And I turn a corner and I see him there. And I'm like, oh my God, hey. And we talked and we caught up, and it was like, that no time had passed. And he's like, what are you doing now? And I just blurted it out. This is what I'm doing now. I'm doing life coaching. I'm doing spiritual life coaching, and I'm a medium. And then I kind of like froze, but that normal feeling of being scared and vulnerable, what are people going to think? It wasn't even there. And I hadn't even seen this guy who I really loved. Not all of my parents were happy for me and my friends to hang out with him when I was younger, but I really always cared about him, and I always knew that he could do really great things. And he's doing really great now. And he was just like, wow, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for putting yourself out there. Like, that's so brave. I love seeing when people are following their dreams. And now he's doing the same thing as well. He is now, fulfilling his dream. And I just think it's so amazing. So like, I put myself out there and we talked about it, and I talked with his fiance, and it was just like this really beautiful moment. Last weekend, I'm at a family function with the side of my family that doesn't really know what I do, or so I thought. I thought they didn't know exactly what I did. I was kind of trying to protect my little Nana from it. She's Southern Baptist, and she doesn't really, this isn't her realm. And come to find out, 3 of my family members were talking to me about what I did. They said they love it. They all want to get readings. They want to work with me. They start talking to me about their own intuitive gifts. Everything, hi Greg, everything just starts opening up. And then they tell me, oh yeah, Nana knows what you do. She's the one who told us. And so it's just like, you think that you can't share yourself. You think that people aren't going to love you if you really open up and be who you truly are, and show them like the scary or the weird or the vulnerable parts of you. But at the end of the day, you guys, that's why they love you. They know these things about you before you know them, and they love you and they care about you. The more you show up authentically, the more embraced you're going to be. So that brings me to my last point. So as I said, I get to be seen. So I'm seen by my family recently. I'm seen by an old friend. And then I go to get my blood drawn yesterday. And the girl taking my blood is talking to me about how she's just trying to keep a positive perspective throughout everything that's going on in our world right now. And, I was like, yeah, I think this whole COVID thing, it is terrible, but it really is a chance for us to reset. I think our earth is resetting. I think it's a time for us to show up for our neighbors, to spend more times with our kids, to just slow down, to get outside. Like, there's nothing to rush to right now. And we start getting on that talk. And then all of a sudden, I'm like telling her I'm a medium, and she's telling me about all these experiences that she's had with these spirits showing up in her room, and how like she sees light around people, and just all of these things that you absolutely would not to expect to come up in a doctor's office while you're getting your blood taken. And then we just had the most beautiful conversation, and she even gave me a hug in a doctor's office in the middle of COVID. We were wearing masks, but she gave me a hug, and she's like, I feel like you were my soul sister, and I feel like I was meant to meet you. And you guys, I just had this chill come over me, because within a week, 3 different sets of people, I've just opened up about who I am, and I've been honest, and all of it was so well received that I was able to help every single person that I told, and they all were asking me questions, and how can I do this? And the one friend that I saw, he was like, I think I might have someone that wants to work with you. Like, just all of the things come together when you show up authentically. And so the girl that I met yesterday, she was asking me, well, what do I do when there's like a spirit that keeps showing up at the end of my bed when I'm trying to sleep? Or, you know, I've woken up before and I've seen this light in my room, or I've woken up before and I've seen, like, I keep astral projecting. What's going on? So I was like, you know, you need to set boundaries. You need to smudge your house. So I had planned to do this workshop before I ended up having to go to the doctor, and then going there just really validated it. And that's what I've been asking from Spirit lately. I'm like, can you validate this? Can you let me know I'm on the right track? Is it really this easy? Can it always be this easy? I feel like I need to be working and doing things a lot more harder than I am, and everything seems to be just working out. And you guys, this is what I teach, but that doesn't mean these thoughts don't still come into my head every once in a while, right? So here we are, we're doing a workshop on how to smudge your home, how to cleanse your home's energy, how to cleanse your energy, and why you need to do it. So let's talk about that first. Why do you need to smudge your home, cleanse your home, and set your boundaries? Listen. You would not just let a stranger walk into your door and start roaming around your house, would you? Like, yeah, we love people, but does that mean we're letting any and everybody in our home? You wouldn't let, you know, just any, if someone you really didn't vibe with and you didn't get good feelings around kept trying to get into your personal space, you would start to kind of put your hands up and be like, whoa, 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 whoa. If somebody wasn't respecting your boundaries very clearly, I hope that you would say, no, 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 this is not okay. And so it's the same thing with spirit, except spirit doesn't have any boundaries until we tell them that they do. And spirit is energy, so spirit can come and go as they please, any and everywhere. And so that's a really beautiful thing. But like I was telling her, you have the control to say, okay, this stuff has scared me in the past, but I know it's a part of who I am, and I know that there is some beauty to it. How do I access all of that beautiful stuff? How do I access all of that light and get rid of the stuff that doesn't serve me? How do I get rid of the negative stuff, or the heavy things, or the things that just don't feel good? How do I get rid of those feelings in the middle of the night waking me up? This is how you do it. You do it by setting boundaries. So as soon as you say, this is who I'm willing to work with, this is who I'm willing to accept, I am not willing to accept this, and thank you, angels and spirit guides, for bringing this in and surrounding me with this. That's what you're going to experience. And that's what changed my life. The day I looked up in my kitchen and I was like, I don't know who you are or what you want, but you've got to stop scaring me. If you stop scaring me, I'm willing to do this work. The first time you scare me, I'm done. And I have held that ever since. And that day, or it was like the next day, my nightmares stopped for good. Those feelings of being watched, those negative, heavy energies, it all stopped. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna write down, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to get out a sheet of paper when you're ready to do this exercise and write, here are my boundaries. Just write, here are my boundaries, or my boundaries are, however you wanna label it. I'm only willing to accept those in the light, in my home, in and around my home. I am only willing to accept in and around my home those that have my best interest and my family's best interest at heart. I am only willing to accept positive and loving energies into my energy and into my energetic space. I am only willing to allow those on my spirit team and my family's spirit team into my immediate energy field. So there you go. You've set your boundaries that you're willing to work with those in the light. You're willing to work with those that love you, but anybody else, like, you gotta go. I'm not available for that energy, okay? So you can write it. You can keep this in a drawer beside your bed. You can keep it in the center of your home. You can keep it wherever you want. But then the next step is gonna be, what are your specific boundaries for when you're sleeping? Because this seems to be like the biggest deal with everyone is like, okay, well, I don't get anything during the day, but when I try to sleep at night, somebody's messing with my feet, or I feel somebody standing over me, or I'm getting these crazy dreams, and I'm having my spirit guides visit me, but I'm not sure they're my spirit guides, and I just get completely freaked out. It always happens at night because we are the most open and receptive at night. Because our walls are down, we're not thinking about anything else. Our spirit is free to come and go as it pleases. Oftentimes it will astral travel and go learn some lessons, from council up above or whatever. But we have to set those boundaries with spirit, because if not, anybody that can see your light, and we've talked about this before, anybody that can see your light is attracted to that light. And it's not because they want to hurt you. And this is, I think, a really common misconception. There's not like dark spirits that are coming in because they want to hurt you. They're coming in because you have a light and they need light. Okay, so it's like they're trying to feed off of this light that you have, and that was my problem. So I always had like these like sleep paralysis and these really terrible nightmares and things, and I would learn to wake myself up and out of them, which was great, but I didn't know exactly what was going on. And then when I started doing this work, I realized that, hey, this is just, this is something or someone that's hurting, that needs light and needs love or needs food, or the light is the food, and I have that and they don't. So as soon as you set your boundaries of, I'm only willing to work with those in the light, I'm only willing to have those in the light that are even near my energy, that all stops as well. Your nightmares will stop. Those feelings of being watched, all of that will stop. And again, it's nothing that can actually hurt you, but it can be very energetically draining and leave you very tired. So here we go. So I talked about writing down what the boundaries are for your home. For your bedroom, here are mine. You can write whatever you want, but these are mine because I am so open all the time and I'm doing this work all the time. I don't write mine down, but you can write yours down, that I only allow one spirit guide and one angel from my team in my room at night at a time. They're not to wake me up unless it's an emergency. The rest of my spirit team can stand guard in the hallway. Okay, so, and then wake me up if there's an emergency. And I do this for my kids' rooms, and I do this for my husband too, because we all have people around us all the time, and spirit and energy and our spirit guides around us all the time, and they all want to work with us, but they also don't want to scare us. So we want to, this is the thing, guys, we want to invite those in that love us while keeping those out that don't. So when you invite those in that love you, to your angels to work with you, your guides to work with you, they're like, yes, like we finally have permission to get in there and help her. And that's why so many people, and this is kind of a separate subject, but so many people are like, well, things never work out for me. They never work out for me. And I believe that there's a God and I believe that there's spirit out there, but they're just not there for me. And then my question is, well, have you asked them specifically to come in, and have you set these boundaries to get these other, negative energies away from you? And then have you invited in your spirit team specifically and said, here, come in, you have the permission to help me. You have the permission to intervene. Actually, just this morning, I was in meditation and I was like, you know what? Higher self, just take over today. Just please take over. My kids, it was like 8 o'clock. They were running outside in their pajamas. I'm trying to meditate and I'm like, okay, I just need my higher self to take over today because I just need to be in joy no matter what the situation is. So you can do that at any time, okay? So set your boundaries for your bedroom. Set your boundaries for your home. Set your boundaries for your bedroom. However you want that to look. You can have as many guides and spirits as you want in there. I personally get woken up by them a lot. And then because I do a lot of spirit work, I do coaching and mediumship readings from my home, from this office, which is on the opposite end of the house from the bedrooms, which is good. I still set a very strong boundary at the entrance of the hallway where the bedrooms are, because that is, okay, anyone that is not a member of my spirit team is not allowed to cross this threshold at all, ever. And the reason that I do that, you guys, you might not have that issue. You might not be doing a ton of spiritual work from your home, so you're not going to be inviting anybody else in, but I am. I'm in this office all the time, and I'm inviting clients, spirit guides and loved ones, I'm inviting them in all the time. So I set that extra strong boundary for myself. Now let's get to the fun part, smudging. So smudging is the act of you can use some sage. I got some examples for you guys. I got like some little bundles of sage here. I like the little ones better. You can get whatever you want. I have some where are my words? Palo Santo right here. Here you go. This is much more gentle, and I use this to clear my own energy versus my home, but some people really don't like the smell of the sage, so it's really up to you what you want to use. You can also use frankincense. So frankincense is extremely strong and is really good at clearing out heavy negative energies. And then I got this a long time ago and I've hardly ever used it. Dragon's blood. And dragon's blood, it's from a tree. I think it's a tree resin, and it's really good at expelling, negative or heavy energies as well. But you guys, I'm a medium. I do mediumship almost every day. This is what I use. I just use sage. And so the way that it works, so this is a lesson, you guys. So the way that it works, if you have the ability, open your back door and open the windows on the back side of your house. That's how I prefer to do it. You can develop your own method. This is just how I prefer to do it. Open the windows on the back side of your house. Start at your front door and move clockwise around your home as you're smudging. So if you have a set of stairs in your house, start at the front door, move clockwise till you get to those stairs, go up or down those stairs, move clockwise around that space, back up, and continue clockwise around your house. Even if your back door is in the middle of your home, go past the back door until you circle back to it, doing that clockwise motion, okay? So in every room, you're gonna do clockwise, and around your home, you're gonna do clockwise. I also, if I'm doing a really, really good smudging, a lot of people like to do them around the full moon. That's when I do it, a releasing ceremony. I also smudge my office almost every day, and I smudge myself almost every day. But you don't have to do that. That's, again, I do a lot of this work a lot of the time. So if you're doing a really, really deep cleansing, like you would do a deep cleansing to your home, open up the cabinets and the drawers and the closets, just let everything out. And so that brings up another point too. I love to clean my house before I smudge because I just like all of the energy to be where it's supposed to be, everything kind of cleaned up, clean and clear, and then I'm cleansing my home. I would suggest that if you don't want to clean your house, that's totally fine. That's extra. I'm extra. I know that. But you can just make sure you at least tidy up. Like you want to diminish any clutter that you can, and just pick up the floor and things like that. Okay. So to smudge, you're gonna light your sage bundle or whatever you're using. And I always carry, it's over there, but I have like a little bowl that I use to kind of catch the ashes and things. So you'll start at the front door, and I always like to ground, connect, protect. You guys know that's my thing. Sometimes I'll get my kids to meditate with me before we start if I can. And then I just call in my angels, my guides. Thank you to my angels. Thank you to my guides for being here. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for protecting this home. Thank you for elevating this home with your love and your light. And thank you for your guidance and your protection. And then I say a prayer. So you can say whatever you want, but mine has just always been, because it's easy for me to remember, and I'll say it slowly for anybody that wants to write it down. Smoke of air, fire of earth, cleanse and bless this home and hearth. Drive away all harm and fear. Only good can enter here. So as you're saying this prayer, it's the same thing. You're reaffirming those boundaries. So get out all harm and fear. Only good can enter here. You're calling in the good. You're releasing the bad. And then as I go about each room, you guys can't see me, but I go about each room, waving the smoke as high as I can get it and kind of just pushing it around with my hand. I'll also say, I release and banish any old, negative, or stagnant energy. Any energy that is not serving me, any energy that is not serving this family, any energy that is not serving this home. I send you away with love and with light, never to return. And if I'm feeling like there's a heavy energy, or there's something, like an energy, a resident Herrick, or a resident that shouldn't be there, just any, like a heavy energy, I'll say that too. Anyone who is not here, who is not on my spirit team, who does not have our best and highest good at heart, you must leave now, never to return. I send you away with love. And so I just go through each room, kind of rotating through all of these things. I say the prayer once in each room. I say, get rid of the negative, old, or stagnant energy. each room, or in each room. I also say that I invite in my angels and my guides in each room to fill each crack, each crevice, each floorboard, each ceiling, coat us with love and with light and with protection. And so I just go about my home doing this all the way. I end at my back door. I usually smudge myself at that point. My dogs always come at that point too. Like my dogs come, sometimes my son comes. Lately my daughter's been coming, so I'll just smudge them as well if they want it. And then I will literally visualize anything left, like any residual energy, any cobwebs, any shadows, anything just going out the back door. I shut the back door, and then I say again, thank you to my angels and my guides for protecting this home, this property, and each one of us with your love and your light. Thank you for allowing our hearts to be open. Thank you for showing us how to love ourselves and how to love others and how to receive love. And I just say all these prayers, and then I visualize like my house. This is kind of silly, but I literally visualize my house just being like pressure washed inside and out with light, and each window and door being sealed with divine light. So that's my process, and that's about how I set boundaries and everything. And you guys, once you do this, you're going to feel so much better. Your home is going to feel much better. And I wanted to kind of take a survey on here today. If you guys could just reply if you'd be interested or not. But my son has been doing all kinds of psychic kid things lately, and I was gonna kind of do one of these lives about psychic kids. But the other day after I smudged, he came up to me and he said, Mommy, they're almost gone. And he doesn't know why I'm doing it. He just knows that I do it when he has a nightmare, or I do it when I have a nightmare. Like that's all that he knows. And, Haley, yes, I do have, if you look up smudging or clearing on my site, there are like 3 or 4 articles with the exact prayer and the steps in them. And I don't know if Ashton's on or not, but if she's not, I can try to remember to link it afterwards. So that'll help as well. But my son the other day, he's like, okay, Mommy, they're almost gone. And I'm like, what's almost gone? And he's like, all the bads. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I kind of started getting a little creeped out. I'm like, I didn't know there were that many bads in here. And he's like, yeah. He's like, don't you see them? And I'm like, no, I don't see them. What do they look like? And he's like, well, you know how a pirate flag looks? And I was like, oh yeah, like a skeleton. And he's like, no. He's like, they kind of look like bones, like maybe like poison. And I was like, okay. And he says, so I watched them. He said, when the smoke leaves, the smoke goes towards the window, so do these bad things. They go out too, and then the wings come in. And I was like, my heart just melted. I was like, oh my gosh, the wings come in. And he's like, yeah, so the wings, I think they're the good ones because they chase the bad ones out, and then the wings come in and they just go all the way around the house. And so I started asking him more questions like, well, what do you see? And he's been talking more and more about the things that he sees and how he sees different symbols on people's hearts depending on their mood. And from what he's told me, they're also very accurate. So, this is not just something that we feel and we want to believe that it works. It does work. It does work. It gets rid of everything that's not serving us. It really calls in the light. You're going to feel it. Your family's going to feel it. People come to my house all the time and they're like, what is so different about your house? Like, why does it feel so good? And I'm like, I don't know, I just smudged. Like, that's usually what I'll say. Or, I also grid my home with crystals. So that's something you guys could do as well that just invites in the light. You can get quartz points or rose quartz. I have a mix throughout my house. So I alternate, clear quartz and rose quartz above each window and door. And then I have a big piece of selenite in the center of my home. So I create this grid, and it just, again, it invites in higher energies, higher vibrations. Okay, so what else, you guys? What else? So that's what I have. Does anybody have any questions on this process or anything so far besides providing the article? Okay, I'm just reading through the comments, you guys. Oh, yay, Maria. I'm so glad that you bought that. Let me see. It took me a pandemic to get myself out on Facebook Live. Robin, I feel like I started this right before the pandemic, actually. That's funny. It's the criticism that hinders being fully open to sharing our gifts. Yes, Greg says it's the criticism that hinders us from fully being open to sharing our gifts. And he's exactly right. And that's what I was afraid of, you know? Like, I was just afraid of, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? And every time I have that thought, it's hilarious because I'll like hear my higher self come in and she's just like, Ashley, literally anyone could Google your name and they're going to find out that you're a medium. So I don't really know what you're afraid of. Like, you have videos, you have YouTube, you have this whole site, and you've had it for 4.5 years. So what are you afraid of? So it is funny how it's just our ego. It's just our own beliefs that kind of set us back. And I've had like 2 people challenge me about what I do. And I know a lot of people that are in this space, they get a lot of like hate mail and really terrible emails, and I just kind of decided from day one that I wasn't available for that it just wasn't in my energy. You know how we talk about manifesting all the time. What are you available for? And I've only had like 2, 3 really mean emails and 1 like really mean person ever. And with those, what I usually do, I take 24 hours to let it sit and respond to make sure I'm not emotional about it. And then I'll respond. But what's funny to me with those is that I'm bringing up this one lady in specific. She wrote me back and she told me like I was the devil and like all of these terrible things. I was like, wow, I didn't know that about myself. But she was clearly in a lot of pain, and I stopped and I thought about it, and I wrote her back very nicely, and I was just like, I'm sorry you feel this way, I'm sending you all the love and the light. And then I just kind of gently remind people, the only reason you're getting these emails is because you signed up for something on my website, or you wouldn't be getting these emails. So it's just, it's what we're available for. And I don't know where a lot of my fear comes from because I haven't had that many negative experiences with people judging me. Okay. I can wake myself up, so Mary says, I'm exactly there now. I can wake myself up and it's startling. I feel someone hovering over me right in my face. So Mary, that's a thing that happened to me a lot. So try what we talked about here. Also set your boundaries. And then you can also ask, especially if I'm starting to feel like I might be going down, like, I don't really have nightmares anymore, but there are still some creepy dreams where like a scenario will keep playing over and over, and I know that that's something that I need to look at in my own life. But if it's in a dream and I keep waking up and going back to sleep and it's still there, I ask my guides and my angels to assist me in that dream every time. That's something I do often now. So Ickle, Ali, I think that, so I'm going to try to remember to post that link to that article, and that should be everything that you need. Found out my 10-year-old is in a reading. Okay, sorry guys, I'm just reading through here. Lindsay says, I asked in a meditation the other day how to teach my daughter these things, or how to recognize her gifts. Would love to learn more about this. Okay, Lindsay, I am super excited to talk about it then, because my son, I've always known he's had some of these gifts. I'm just making a note. I've always known he's had these since he could talk, actually since before he could talk, at like 6 months, but I'll save that for next time. I don't open my windows or doors, so I guess I should start. So there is something so powerful, and this is another thing, you know what, I should just go ahead and say it. There's something so powerful about the natural light and vibration of the sun, or even just the outdoor energy. When we finally, you guys, we lived here for 5 years and couldn't open any of the windows. It's an old house. All the windows were painted shut. We finally got new windows, and I swear just opening them, it was like my house just lit up with light. Like, you need that fresh air. You need that clear air. You will be amazed at the change in vibration of your home. Julie, I only open each closet and cabinet when I'm doing a really deep, thorough smudging, which I do maybe a couple times a year. But most of the time I just run through each room. It'll take me a maximum of 20 minutes. Yeah, Rick says he wands his dogs with selenite and they don't mind it. Actually, this morning when I was trying very hard to meditate and my kids were just not having it, my daughter came over and I was wanding her with the selenite too, and I put it on her forehead and her heart, and she was doing the same to me, and I think it calmed us both down. Kelly says, I am really feeling the need to smudge. Been talking to Maurice and he is responding lightly. Yeah, I would definitely smudge. That's what I was saying, you guys, at the very beginning. So we are in this period where it's like I don't want to say the veil's non-existent, but it's definitely like we're jumping back and forth in between two worlds. And so the need to smudge has been much more abundant as well. Just like it's going to be easier than ever to tap into your intuitive gifts, it's also, it's also more like there's a lot more activity. Let's put it that way. There's a lot more activity right now. So yes, Mama Kelly, go ahead and smudge your home. Oh my gosh, Keisha, you are the best, girl. Thank you. I really appreciate you. I can't wait to talk to you one day. Maria, I would love to learn more about how to help my kids. Okay, we're definitely doing that next week. Samantha says, I've always had issues with the feeling of being stared at. Very persistent energy while I'm going about my day at home. Yeah, so Samantha, definitely set your spiritual boundaries. So set them, like I said in the beginning, set them with your home, what you are willing and are not willing to have. Clear your home and then start working. That's the other thing, you guys, and this doesn't have to do with energy or with boundaries or clearing, but start working with your spirit guides. I cannot stress this enough. So you don't have to think that you're incredibly intuitive to work with your spirit guides. Like Kelly says, she journals. She met her guide through a group session that we did, and she journals with her guide and she gets guidance from him. So you can do this too. So the closer you get to your guides, one, the easier life is going to be because they will guide you. They'll push you in the right direction. As you could hear with me at the beginning, it's like, I know this is the time for everybody to open up, and I know this is the time for everybody to do their work, their self-work, their spiritual work. But Spirit's even been pushing me, like, put yourself out there, open up, put yourself out there. So it's definitely, it will be beneficial for you to work with your spirit team. Just invite them in, or you can do one of my courses, which will really support you. But also, Samantha, it sounds like you're very clairsentient. So clairsentient is feeling, clear feeling on your skin, or feelings of being watched, feeling of someone's character. So all of those things I bet bump up to you, and you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. So work to learn to tune into your clairsentience and tune out of it when you want to. And then because of being clairsentient people are also extremely empathic. Learn to really protect and ground your energy as well. Maria, no, the windows and doors do not have to be open all the way. So like I said before, and we just recently got our windows, so before that I was only opening my back door, and in the wintertime I would just crack it. Do you open your windows and doors every time? I live in a very cold climate, that's why I don't. Summertime, windows are open. So Mary, just like I just said, so in the wintertime I usually will just at least crack the back door, and it doesn't take long. So I would, because you're signifying letting everything go and go out the back door while you're allowing the light to come in the front door. I feel all day, every day. Yes, girl. So go ahead and, clear your home, protect your energy, learn how to tap into that clairsentience. You can learn how to do that and protect your energy, work through the fears, all of that. And there's a lesson in grounding and another lesson in clearing in my intuitive development course. Could you maybe do a live on animal communication one day? Oh, that's a good one, Haley. Yeah, I could. I'm going to write it down. I can't remember. Did I either had the intention to do a power animal or spirit animal live, or I did it. I want to say I had the intention and then something else came up. So definitely that gets to be included too. Okay, guys, I want to tell you, so it starts on July 1st. I'm thinking about pushing it back a little bit, but I have a mediumship masterclass coming up. That said, anyone who wants to join that, I would recommend that you know a little bit about your intuitive gifts, which is your strongest, and how to tune in and out of them. I've never promoted this, like I never usually push this, but I've had like multiple people enroll in my, I can't think of the name of, see this, like I don't even put it out in like my emails that often, but I think it's a full mediumship package or something, but it comes with the intuitive development course and the mediumship diving deeper course and a coaching call with me and a spirit guide session. So I'll look for that link and I'll post it, because it seems like that's what everybody wants right now. Like it's the whole package. It has everything, and I've just never really put it out there. It's just something that's been sitting on the site for years. So I'll share that link as well, in case anybody's interested in that, because I know that this is the time to really do the work, and everybody wants to do the work. They're not sure where to start. So that's where you start, and that's kind of in the order that it goes as well. Samantha says, I have lots of windows and doors, more than one back door. Should I still go clockwise throughout the home or stop at every door separately? Just go clockwise. No need to make it complicated. Just go clockwise and go around. Actually, a client that I used to work with, she has a big like lake house, and so her whole house is literally just windows and doors, and we had the same question. So just open up as much as you can, or as much as you're comfortable with, and then go around clockwise. Don't you have to be a medium? Sorry if that's a silly question. Be a medium for what, Maria? Be a medium to smudge your house? If so, no. Be a medium for the mediumship masterclass? Not so much, because the mediumship masterclass and also the other course that I talked about, yes, we're learning how to give readings and how to get accurate spiritual messages, but it's more so for yourself. So like I talked about last week, mediumship isn't for entertainment. It's not for other people. Mediumship is first for yourself and for your own healing and for your own returning to who you are and remembering who you are at your core as a spirit. And so that's really so mediumship diving deeper, the course that I have, that is all for readings and starting your own business and starting your own practice and getting the spiritual messages for yourself. But this mediumship diving deeper, the masterclass, is more about, okay, now that we know how to tap into our intuitive gifts and we know how they work throughout each day, how do we get the messages for ourselves? How do we give a reading to ourselves? How do we connect with our spirit guides for ourselves and get an accurate reading that's going to guide us? How do we tap into, and I can say this for you specifically, how do we tap into that guidance that we know is there, but we haven't been able to reach yet? So that's really what the masterclass is for. Maybe I should put like mediumship masterclass for myself or something. I don't know, but it really is. It's to expand your practice as a whole, but it's really for you first. Mediumship is always for you first. There is no obligation if you're able to connect with spirit to give messages to other people. There's only an obligation to and it's not even an obligation. I feel it is a responsibility that once you realize you have this gift, to dive deeper within yourself and to explore it and to see what changes for you. Does that make sense? Because for me, and that's what that friend that I mentioned to you guys, when I ran into him and we were talking about what I did, he's just like, and like I said, he's known me when I was like 12 and we got into trouble together and stuff. And he was like, well, that makes sense. It makes perfect sense what you're doing right now. He's like, you've always been extremely empathic. You've always been the one to try to help other people, to try to smooth things over. You've always been the one to try to, he was saying like my friends, I was the one to try to like guide them away from conflict and guide them away from things, not necessarily that they shouldn't be doing because I was there, but I was kind of like the voice of reason, if you will. And he was just saying, I always had this advice. And I'm like, it's funny you say that because my best friend is the one, and he knows my best friend. I'm like, she's the one who said, yeah, dude, I've always known this about you. How do you not know this about yourself? And it's like all of these people know who we are sometimes before we know. And so I just decided, she was like, you need to learn how to do this, but you need to be safe about it. And you need to learn how to be happy, because I think that's really important when you're doing this work too. And So that's what I did, and that's how I got here, and it changed my life. Just being and it's not mediumship that changed my life, and it's not the intuition that changed my life. It was the willingness to look at myself, to look at my shadows, the willingness to fucking heal, the willingness to be real with myself, the willingness to be like, wow, this person in my life that I love deeply is extremely toxic for me. And so I've got to now set my own personal boundaries. It doesn't mean I write them out of my life, but it means like, hey, 15 minutes on the phone with you is all I can handle. Or, you know, you're not going to guilt me into this anymore. You don't get to guilt me into doing the things that you want anymore because they're not serving me and they're pulling me down. And then I had to wrap my mind around, it's not selfish to love yourself, because that's something that even, you know, when I had talked to my mom, I was like, hey, I'm doing this work, and, you know, I would be like, I'm meditating, or I'm taking an hour for me a day. And my mom was like, how can you do that? You have a new baby. That's very selfish, blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking back, I'm like, no. And even in the moment I heard it, I'm like, that's not selfish. We have to fill ourselves up. We have to heal ourselves, or we cannot be the best for our family. We cannot be the best for other people. We won't even have the energy to do it. So that's something completely different. But you guys, what I'm saying is this work isn't about like being a medium. It's not about giving readings. It's about healing yourself, returning to your core, and seeing how fucking valuable and beautiful and amazing that you are, and what a light you are, and that there's a reason that you're here on this earth. That came from spirit, I believe. So that just came right out. So I really appreciate all of you guys being here with me. Does anybody have any questions? Keisha, you are on fire, and I love you, and I appreciate you. So you guys, Keisha listed the training package that I was talking about, the complete training package. It has the intuitive development course, which I honestly recommend for every single person, every empath, every single person, and then the mediumship diving deeper. And then, like I said, there's a coaching call and a spirit guide call in there too. So thank you again, Keisha. And anybody who wants to explore that, I've had, like I said, I haven't even been like promoting that, and people just keep buying it. So maybe I need to let more people know about it. Maybe I should put it in my meals. But I appreciate all of you. Any questions before we head into a beautiful weekend? Nope, no questions. I know there's like a bit of a lag on this thing. Thank you, Keisha. And you know, I gotta say, you guys, like, I love doing these. So yesterday I was really bummed because I had two sessions I had to cancel or reschedule, and then I had this Facebook Live, and I was just like having a really hard time. I was on the couch, stuck on the couch, and all I wanted to be doing was this, and which is so completely opposite from a few months ago. I actually, before I got on this call, I almost texted you. I was just thinking about Morgan recently. So I will pray for her. And I'm going to send some good vibes, and I would love to hear from her as well. So yeah, you guys, I love you, and I appreciate all of you. Greg, go ahead. I think I have a little bit of time. I put my kids down for a nap right before we started this, so I think I have a little bit of time before they wake up. Go ahead and shoot me a question. I love you too, Mama. No? Greg, question? Okay, guys, well, if there are no more questions, I love you guys too, Haley. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm gonna go and do some laundry and do some mom things and move into this start of this weekend. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you for being here. All right, well, I hope you guys all have a beautiful day. Oh, thank you, Keisha. I really appreciate that. So Morgan is my very best friend since I was 12, and she's just my sister. Like, she's my sister no matter what. So thank you. Samantha, so if if you set boundaries for spirit, so you bring up a really good point. If you set boundaries for spirit, you're not going to cut them off, but you've got to say it in the right ways, okay? So saying, I'm willing to have my spirit team work with me. I'm willing to feel you or see you or hear you, whatever you're comfortable with. That is important. But saying, okay, all spirit, get away from me. That's how you cut yourself off. Or saying that you're scared, that's how you cut yourself off. So really working through that fear and working through that doubt is going to help you. Trusting that your spirit team loves you and has your best interest at heart is going to help you. And really practicing and learning discernment is going to help you. So make sure, so you can find all of that in the course, but also, and you can find all of that in different articles if you do searches on my blog as well. But just make sure you are really, you're protecting your energy and you're saying exactly who you want to connect with, okay? You have the birthright, you have the spiritual right to connect with your team, and you should, because it's so, so, so beautiful. And it's such a wonderful, amazing connection, and it's so supportive. But you've got to be willing to invite that in, and you can't be scared of receiving from your spirit team. So you can even say things like, just start with a light touch on my arm, or start with a touch on my cheek. That could help you. And then the last thing that I will say, I've heard, and I've gotten this question twice this week. If I smudge, what if the spirits get angry at me and they like rebel or something? That's not going to happen, because you're not just like expelling spirits. You're also, and really guys, again, there's not going to be that, like, they're not that negative. They can't hurt you. Remember that you're in control. Decide that you're getting rid of all, not only negative spirits, but negative energy, because negative energy will seep at you just as much as like a low vibe spirit or a low vibe person will. So stuck, stagnant energy, sick energy, leftover argument energy, that all is very heavy too. So just, set your boundaries, decide that you're getting rid of anything that doesn't serve you or your family, and then ask your spirit team to assist, okay? So just ask your spirit team to assist, and you don't have to worry about anybody like getting angry at you or anything like that. Okay. You're supported. You're always supported, you guys. Let me say it again, like, open yourself up to receive this message. You're always supported. There's always support there for you. There's always love there for you. And even if you can't see it, and even if you keep asking for a message and you're not getting it, ask for a sign, ask for a word, ask for an image. You're gonna get it. You're always supported. You just gotta be open and aware to receive that support. Okay. I love you guys. I'll see you next week.